Welcome everyone to Southern Virginia University women's soccer today from the fields at Southern Virginia University. I'm Jim Bresnahan, joined by Mike Harmon, getting ready to bring you the first of several homecoming matchups this weekend. Southern Virginia women's soccer team getting ready to take on Wesley. And Mike, it'll be a Wesley team coming in overall record 4-5-2, 1-2 in the Capital Conference, facing a struggling Southern Virginia team trying to get some offense right now, 3-8 overall, and in the conference 0-2.
Yeah, the Knights are trying to find the pieces to put it back together again, to find some form that they were late last year. Hopefully some of the young ladies that have been out for various reasons are starting to come back into the lineup, whether they're starting or not. And maybe against this Wesley team, who had traveled a very long way to get here today, they can find some magic out on the field.
And again, it's going to be a very busy homecoming weekend, Mike. We've got women's soccer in just a few seconds here from the fields at Southern Virginia University. Saturday, 1 o'clock, we've got football, the homecoming game against Montclair State, and Saturday at 5 o'clock, and men's soccer. It'll be Southern Virginia taking on Wesley.
Yeah, again, a very event-filled day tomorrow.
And a very busy weekend for volleyball, too. They're on the road Saturday.
Yeah, they're on the road and playing in a tri-match. And so we wish all the teams good luck, and especially the ones that are here, if they have family or friends that are coming in to watch them play. And also we like to say welcome back to the alumni that are trickling in right now and will be here tomorrow.
And Mike, how about this matchup today with Wesley? Wesley, a team that has just won the win in the Capital Conference, one of 3 games in the conference. The Knights, of course, struggling with the offense.
Yeah, it's just going to be a game that the Knights really have to win this if they want to stay in the hunt for a tournament bid. Wesley not doing so well in the conference until they played Marymount and scored 6 goals there. So they're a hot team coming in.
We'll take a look at the starting lineups here in just a few seconds. We're going to break away, though, for the prayer and the national anthem here in just a few minutes. So stay with us.
Stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets hid there, the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Jim Bresnahan, Mike Harmon, getting ready for the start of this women's soccer matchup between Southern Virginia and Wesley. Mike, how does the starting lineup look today for the Knights?
Tonight we got the Knights have a few people back in for them and a few small changes. First we'll go with the starters is number 3, Mackenzie Cottle, number 4, Sierra Sorensen, number 5, Lily Winterton. In goal will be number 3, Savannah Uri, number 11, Cammie Miller, number 13, Victoria Slade, Number 17, Shaylee Nakamoto. Number 18, Tatiana Monson. Number 26, Emily McFadden. Number 27, Savannah Pulliam. Number 30, Jackie Barlow. And number 32, Lauren Hatchett. So we have Monson back into the lineup. Gambi's available. Probably be on some limited minutes because she just got cleared from her concussion syndromes. And so hopefully this will jumpstart the Knights' offense.
You know, and you look at the recent action, and really we talked about the both teams, the men's soccer and the women's soccer team here at Southern Virginia, really struggling with their offense, and kind of a similar situation. For the women on September the 22nd, they beat Everett 4-3. Those goals coming in the first half, blanked in the second half, and in the last 3 games, they've lost all 3 to St. Mary's, Barton, and Christopher Newport, with just 1 goal, Mike, in those 3 losses. And for the men, of course, against Roanoke College back on September the 17th, they got a first half goal, and they have not scored since. They were shut out in the second half against Roanoke and shut out in the last 4 games against Bridgewater, St. Mary's, Greensboro, and also Christopher Newport. So, again, both teams struggling with their offense really all season long to a certain degree, but really the last 3 to 4 games.
Yeah, and you got to hope that the law averages start to catch up with the Knights. This was at least for the women's team, this was a very prolific goal-scoring team last year. Just 1 or 2 little changes that have happened from last year to this year on the defensive side. Offensively, we know Monson's been out for a while. We know Gambi's been out for a while, and those were the 2 major goal scorers for them. Hopefully, things start to click a little bit more for them today as they've been able to practice this last couple of days together.
I believe Gambi leads the Knights with 4 goals. Monson had 17 goals last year, has just 1 goal so far this season, Mike. So whether we're talking Monson individually or the entire team, you saw them a lot last year in the 2014 season. Where do you see the biggest differences between last year's team and this year's team? Not just offense, but across the board, I guess.
Well, they're a little bit more dynamic on goal scoring, and they were able to keep the ball in their end of the offensive play a lot longer. Passing might have been a little bit sharper, and their defensive alignment in the back row was always pushing forward and playing really almost at midfield when the Knights run the offensive side of their field. So some small changes that have happened. Again, a lot of things started out really wrong for the Knights in that first game against Bridgewater, where we saw their outstanding freshman goalkeeper get a lacerated kidney in the last few seconds of the game, and from there the injuries just piled up on them.
And the Knights have some very winnable games down the stretch. They've got today the Wesley Wolverines. Now the next 2 after that, Monday Salisbury, Wednesday Mary Washington, 2 tough games there, but they follow that on the road at Penn State Harrisonburg, October the 17th, winnable game there. Their last home game, Senior Day, 21st of October against Marymount, very winnable there, and also a road game at York on the 24th of October.
Well, this game is really to put them in position to get into that 6th spot. If they win against Wesley, York, Penn State, Harrisburg, and Marymount, they can go ahead and be that 6th place team and get into the conference tournament, which is something that I know their goal was. Again, very winnable games in Wesley, York, Penn State, Harrisburg, and Marymount. So it all has to start today. If they don't win this game today, they can almost really kiss their chances of getting into the tournament goodbye.
And then the question becomes, Mike, is how do they win this game today? What kind of start are they looking at, not just here in the first few minutes of the contest, but really throughout this first half? Well,
again, not letting 1 goal turn into 3 goals, where we've seen them give up flurries of goals. Also, we can look at this alignment that they're starting out with. They got some really good goal scorers up front. They got Cottle, Monson, and McFadden there getting ready to start on. And it's in the attack area. Maybe they're going to try to get a little bit more aggressive with some long balls down the field and try to penetrate the seams of the Wesley defense. But again, the biggest key is going to get that for them is to get the first goal.
And again, Wesley's coming off a big performance against Marymount, and I think you mentioned it a few seconds ago. For a team that has kind of struggled, 4-5-2 overall, that could be a big confidence booster for the Wolverines.
Yeah, and the Knights defense really has to pay attention to number 5 more. She has 10 goals on the season so far and has just been outstanding for them.
Good athlete, Jania Moore, as you mentioned, just a freshman. Not very big, 5'2", but very quick.
Very fast, and again, a very prolific goal scorer. So far, she's snuck up on people, I think, a little bit like Monson and Gamby snuck up on people last year. Next year, she may have a little bit tougher go of it, especially at her slight frame. She can get bumped and knocked off her line really easy.
You can ask for better weather, though, today, Mike. I know we had some rain showers throughout the area earlier today, but gorgeous day, gorgeous fall day here for some women's soccer action.
Oh, excellent. It started out very humid and rainy, and now all the humidity has kind of passed through the area. The leaves are starting to turn. It's about in the mid-70s to lower 70s right now. Just a great day for any type of outdoor activity, and the Knights really have to take advantage of this today.
I haven't checked the forecast. Hopefully, I know originally a day or two ago there was some rain in the forecast for Saturday. Hopefully there won't be any rain tomorrow. It'll be like this for football and for men's soccer.
It'd be nice for them to be able to get both games off without any weather-related incidents.
Okay, Monson takes it away. She might have a little, nope, that's a little breakaway coming up here for the Knights. Monson trying to go from right to left, trying to get a shot off. She does, and it just goes off to the left. Tatiana Monson taking it away from a couple of Wolverines, going right down the field. Did a nice move, Mike, to shift from the right side over to the left side in the center of the field. Got the shot off, just couldn't get it in.
Well, you see that her right knee is heavily bandaged, so she went over, tried to take the shot with her left foot. Just barely missed, but that's a great sign for the Knights within the first 3 minutes to get the first shot on goal. Or I'm sure they're just counting that as a shot. Nice crossing pass.
And the goalkeeper comes out for Wesley to make the play.
But this is the most aggressive we've seen the Knights come out to play since that Averett game.
Taylor Lynch, the goalkeeper, a senior for Wesley. Well, of course, the Knights have really run into some tough teams here the last couple of home games. Barton a week ago Wednesday, and also, of course, most recently, Mike, Christopher Newport.
Yeah, two really tough teams. Division II school. Barton is one of the top teams in the Peach Belt Conference, and Christopher Newport's always a tough team to play against in any sport.
And you can see, even though we're just about 3-4 minutes into this game, just at first glance, the differences between Christopher Newport and Wesley. Christopher Newport just seems a lot more smoother as far as the offense was concerned, passing and everything. Wesley seems to be struggling a little bit here in the opening minutes, and the Knights are really competitive.
Yeah, and it has to do a little bit with the coaching staffs and the demand on time that they put in. Also, maybe a little bit better athlete at Christopher Newport. They are a little bit bigger school, and they're able to attract some talent that a lot of schools in the Division III level just aren't able to attract.
As you mentioned, though, the Knights have to keep it out of the control of number 5 out there. And she is a really good athlete for the Wesley Wolverines and Jania Moore.
Yeah, and really we'd like to see no pressure on Savannah Uri all game long. But that at least the first half, no pressure on her, and really start to attack the goal on the Knights' end.
And again, the Knights will be playing a lot of games. We talked about this the other night. A lot of games in the next 2 to 2.5 weeks, including home games coming up on Monday and also on Wednesday. The Monday is a makeup game against Salisbury, Monday at 4 o'clock, and then, of course, also Wednesday. Another tough opponent comes to town, Mary Washington.
Yeah, two tough games for the Capital Conference. The Knights really need to use this game to try to catapult them forward in those games. We just saw the closing speed there of Moore as she almost chased the ball down.
Wesley tries to go on the attack. Moore tries to kick it in, but it's booted out by the Knights. We try to get the offense started. Monson is all by herself, though, against 4 Wesley Wolverines. We've seen that from time to time. Usually it's Gamby who's all alone on the offensive end.
And the defense is really trying to play so far back to not give up any goals that there's no one as soon as the ball gets passed ahead to really try to catch up with whoever's out there in the lead. Oh, nice pass.
Let's see if Monson can take this all the way and score. Kicks it. Oh, boy, what a big save by the goalkeeper. Taylor Lynch for Wesley. She came out and really had to make a big stop, and she did for the Wolverines.
Again, that's the second shot that the Knights have had in the first 6 minutes of the game. That
2 good looks for Monson.
there's been games that we've been waiting until the second half to see shots being taken.
And that was an excellent pass, as you mentioned, too.
Oh, Cottle just put it straight through the seam, enough pace on it that Monson was the only one that could get to it.
So Monson's had a couple of good looks, but no goals to show for it so far. Even the Knights have played a very solid 6 minutes here. Barlow kicks it up. Monson tries to get control of it. Now Wesley tries to work to go on the attack.
And we can see the back line of the Knights defense starting to press up, but they really got to be aware of where number 5 is. And if they make any mistakes passing, watch for a pass over the top and try to get it to Moore.
That's going to be the big question, I think. One of the big questions today, Mike, will be can Wesley go over the top, or maybe a good seam pass to connect with number 5 in Jania Moore.
Well, I'm pretty sure that in their film breakdown that they understand what Moore can do and hopefully have a good game plan defensively to bottle her up.
Not necessarily going to be Moore against Monson, but shape it up like that early on here. As to which one might break through first with the first goal of the game, provided, of course, it's either one of those that actually score.
Well, I know that Tatiana would love to score, but it'd really be nice to see her be able to create something for McFadden or Cottle on the other side and just draw the attention to her, make a nice crossing pass, and find a wide open goal for one of her teammates. Ampal still trying to come back from her concussion-like symptoms, and that's really a letdown on the defense for them because she can do so much out there. Not that Nakamoto's a good player, but Powell just has closing speed that a lot of the other Knights don't have.
And she has the ability to go quickly from defense to offense, too.
Yeah, we saw her be able to take the ball from one end of the field to the other really by herself and blow by people.
Another key question today, Jamila Gambi, will she play? If so, how many minutes?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're going to monitor her, although, with her personality, you never know if she's really hurting or not. And when they do the concussion testing, there's some things that they have to do, and with her playful nature, she may be fooling some of the trainers. And
I don't know if it's whether we're talking about soccer or maybe women's basketball. It's hard to imagine a player who likes to dance more.
She is a very fun-loving character. And that's what really sports are supposed to be about. When they start to take it way too seriously, things start to get out of perspective. None of these players are going to go on and play professional sports. So enjoy the time that you have right now, especially with your teammates. And if that's your personality, such as Jamila's is to be having fun all the time, then go ahead and do it.
Yeah, it certainly relaxes, I would think, her teammates, if nothing else.
Well, she's always putting a smile on their face or making them laugh even when they don't want to.
Things have kind of settled down a bit. The Knights had a couple of good chances early. And now both teams kind of doing a little feeling out process here. We've played almost 10 minutes. And suddenly a move was put on by Wesley, but the Knights were able to get back defensively and stop that attack.
And that's where they were starting to pay too much attention to Moore and didn't see number 17 there,
Peggles, Carrie Peggles, senior.
Sneak through.
Well, we'll try to get you maybe a few baseball updates too, because I don't know if we've got one or two American League playoff games going on today.
Two.
This afternoon, 2 today, and then 2 for the National League tonight, I guess.
Yeah, this is the first day and the only day that all 4 teams play.
I guess for baseball lovers, it'd be akin to the first day of the NCAA basketball tournament, right?
It must be. Dangerous time now for the Knights as Wesley's earned a corner.
Corner kick right side. It's going to be Lauren Price, a senior, taking the kick. Header attempted by Wesley. And the Knights will go ahead and clear.
Nice clear by Hatchett right to Monson's feet.
Monson trying to work her way upfield. Well, quick update. We got Texas and Toronto Mike still tied at 4, and Houston's jumped out to an early lead against Kansas City 3-0 in American League playoff action. Suddenly, originally I was thinking maybe St. Louis, Kansas City in the World Series. Now suddenly I'm thinking it's going to be the Astros and the Cubs.
It could be. Well,
who would have thought that maybe 2-3 years ago?
At
Worst team in the National League, worst team in the American League.
At least it'll be some teams that aren't there all the time. It'll be nice to see some fresh faces.
And, of course, this first series, Mike, it's best of 5, so you fall behind a game or two, and it's not like a 7-game series. You don't have a whole lot of catch-up time. Here's a shot, and it goes right to the left of the goal.
And there you saw Moore trying to sneak right through the middle, and if they were able to put a pass to her, that should have been onside and one-on-one with Savannah Uri.
Don't think Savannah's looking forward to that.
No, I don't think any goalkeeper ever looks forward to a one-on-one with a goal-scoring striker.
Nice pass there, but just a little out of the reach of Cottle.
Again, Cottle and McFadden are going to be some of the big keys in this game. If they can get on track and take some of the pressure off of Monson or Gamby, and when I say pressure, it's pressure that they put on themselves to score goals. That would be tremendous.
Well, McFadden had those 2 goals against Averett and hasn't scored since, obviously. The Knights have struggled as a team to score, but you wonder what has happened to her the last 3-4 games. You were expecting maybe a breakout after that.
Yeah, sometimes when you step up and score.
Nice move by
goals,
McFadden there.
That is. Oh, nice give and go.
Still a couple of defenders back.
Oh,
and trying to get it to the left side, maybe to Barlow, and she wasn't there.
Sometimes when you score goals quickly in your young career, you start pressing, trying to score more. Well, this is where the Knights cannot afford to make a mistake. Is right there in the middle of the field.
Nice pass.
Nice
to
pass
Monson.
through.
Could be a little shot breakout here. Monson battling a defender and couldn't get the shot off and past the goalkeeper, but she got her own rebound. Now suddenly there's 4 or 5 defenders back. Gets it over to Barlow. Another good chance, Mike, for Tatiana. She's had 3 good looks.
Well, the defender got back and really angled her off, took away a lot of the space that was open in the goal. So it was a great play also by Wesley to get back and angle her away from the goal.
And of course, Tatiana's been battling injuries all season. You just wonder if she's a step or 2 slower than if she was 100% healthy.
Well, I'm pretty sure that she's trying to go a little bit away from her right leg too, and that's her dominant leg. So that takes some power off of any shot that she has.
Nice defense by Winterton to take more off the ball.
Good job by Nakamoto. Great angle. And that's something that we haven't seen the Knights really do is play really good angles on those passes through the seams. And that time Nakamoto did a great job of playing that angle.
Looks like the weather is so good, Mike. Maybe down there on the field, in the softball field, they're doing some practicing.
Softball's starting their weeks of non-traditional season. Baseball started this week also. They planned to start about 2 weeks ago, but with all the weather and rain that we were having, they went ahead and postponed it till this week to start. So they'll have 5 weeks of trying to get some things in, and it's going to start getting cold on them. And I guess they're just going to try to prepare for the spring when it was snowing or 30 degrees below.
Can't be any worse than last year, right?
Oh, I don't think so.
Or earlier this year.
Let's not say that because, I don't know if you believe in the almanac. I kind of read it all the time, and they say that this winter is supposed to be really bad.
Yeah. And not that far away from the start of basketball, too.
Basketball starts October 15th for the men and women. I know they're chomping at the bit, getting ready to go.
Well, we've played 15 minutes and still no score, and the Knights have had the good looks. Tatiana Monson with 3 good shots and just hasn't been able to beat the goalkeeper just yet.
Well, but again, it's nice to see those shots coming so early in the first half. We've seen games where we had to wait till the second half to have that type of pressure put on the opposing team. Saw Savannah Pulliam come in for Lily Winterton for the Knights.
Yeah, what's your philosophy on that, Mike? Is it a situation where you say, hey, 3 good shots, that's just the tip of the iceberg. More to come, or 3 good shots. You don't know if we're going to get any more. Boy, it's a shame we couldn't get a goal off one of those.
Oh, 3 good shots and keep on going, ladies. The law averages will finally start to catch up.
Nice defense by Slade to pick the pocket of Janai Moore. And now the Knights try to bring it upfield.
But we saw, for example, with Christopher Newport's men last week, where they just kept on throwing the ball up at the goal, up at the goal, up at the goal, and finally the defense of the Knights broke late in the first half. So as long as the Knights can keep on attacking and putting more pressure on the goalkeeper, eventually it will break.
Monson tried to go by a defender, lost it, rolls out. Now Christopher Newport, of course, beat the men 3-0, but beat the women 7-0. And again, that was a game that was 1-0 with less than a minute to go. And the CNU women were able to score right before halftime and then add 5 more second half goals.
Yeah, the floodgates kind of open, and again, with all the mixture that was going on with players playing in different spots and really not having a lot of continuity, giving up a lot of goals and flurries. Again, we haven't seen a lot of pressure put on Savannah back in goal so far, and you know that's something that was our key to this game, is keep the pressure off her and put it all on the goalie for Wesley.
It almost seems like Wesley is a little passive on offense right now, or perhaps they're just looking for one of those passes to Janaya Moore to try to get a golden opportunity, as McFadden has it on the right side. She tries to get by a defender, does momentarily, centers, but the defender right there to knock that centering pass away. McFadden gets it back and knocked out of bounds.
Well, it's good to see McFadden really trying to push up, not look back on past games and say, oh, you know, poor me, I haven't been able to score again, but really be in the moment here.
Barlow's shot blocked by a defender. Wesley tries to clear. Sorensen there, but she kicked it right to a Wesley player. That is Peggles. Slade trying to take it away. McFadden takes it away, but her pass to Barlow's picked off by a Wesley Wolverine.
We're starting to see the spacing that was so prevalent in the first few minutes of the game starting to cramp up now. Everything's coming almost like a cluster to the middle, which is not going to allow for really free play.
Lynch, the goalkeeper, comes out for that one. 3 shots on goal for the Knights, all from Monson. No shots on goal thus far for Wesley. Knights have done a good job defensively bottling up the Wesley offense. You can see Moore right there trying to get a takeaway. Peggles gets it. The give and go pass, though, not anywhere near where Peggles can grab it. Now it's a misstep. Peggles has it left side after Slade missed it. Kicks it over to Moore, and Moore with the right foot can't get the good shot off, and it goes off to the right of the goal. Boy, a misstep there by, it looked like Slade giving up the ball, and boy, nice centering pass by Peggles to get it back in the middle to Janaya Moore, who just could not get a good shot off. Looked like she kind of slipped as she was trying to kick that ball.
Again, that's where the Knights have made just the errors so few that they've made on defense. That's what they make, and it usually turns into a goal. So instead of trying to really dribble the ball out and make an offensive play, just go ahead and kick it out, let your defense set up, and then we can go from there.
Monson tries to get down there, but the goalkeeper reaches the ball first. Miller able to knock it over to Cottle. Got Cottle, Monson, Barlow up there attacking, and McFadden. Kick into the goal, and Lynch is right there for an easy save.
And you saw Jackie Barlow cross right in front of Mackenzie Cottle within about 5 yards, and that just brings defenders to you. If she's going to make that kind of cross, she needs to do it about 10 yards away.
Well, you've talked about it. Spacing so important.
Right, in any sport, spacing is really important. And right now, the Knights' spacing is starting to get really clustered.
Nice pass to McFadden. Goalkeeper comes out. Oh, and Monson just not there in the proper place where that ball went from right to left. If she had been, easy goal for the Knights.
Yeah, I think Emily saw what was going on and just got a little bit too excited, put a little bit too much on it. If she could just have flipped the ball up.
Maybe just a little tap, I guess.
A little tap up and over the top of the goalkeeper, not even trying to put it in the goal, and then Tatiana could have ran in and really just used any part of her body to put it in.
So the Knights had some good looks, but this game was still scoreless. Even though the majority of the game, Mike, here in the first 22 minutes or so, has been played on this side of the field on Wesley's defensive side.
Well, that's what we want to see, again, is we've had so many games where the time of possession has been so far out of the Knights' favor that this is a breath of fresh air, and they've got to really feel good about what they're doing out there.
Barlow tries to get the steal, can't. Wesley tries to get that ball to Janai Moore, but there's a lot of Knights around her.
You know, and that's just going back to film work and scouting. What does Wesley really want to do? Well, with 10 goals, they obviously want to get it to Moore.
Substitution, looks like. And Alicia Blackham's going to see some game time here.
As she comes in for Mackenzie Cottle.
She's been in and out of the lineup, obviously due to injuries.
Again, this is one of those games where a win right now in this game really sets them up to be in that 6th spot going into the conference tournament.
Especially if they could pull an upset, Mike, on Monday or Wednesday.
Oh, if they could beat a Mary Washington or a Salisbury, that really puts them in the driver's seat.
Even if you don't win one of those games, you win today and play those teams pretty tough, I would think your confidence level would be extremely high for the next 3 to 4 games.
Well, right now, a win will just boost your confidence level so far. A goal right now would boost their confidence level so far just because they haven't seen the ball go into the net with any regularity.
Knights, the last goal they scored was that road game about a couple Saturdays ago at St. Mary's on the September the 26th. Ended up losing that game 7-1. That's the last time they scored back on September the 26th.
You know, and St. Mary's right now is 3-0 in the conference.
So in other words, losses don't look good, but looking a little better the way St. Mary's has been playing.
Exactly, and you know, you just never know from year to year how things are going to shake out.
Pass to Monson, but defender gets there first.
And Alicia Blackham's one of these seniors that really wants to go out, having been on the first women's soccer team that has gone to the conference tournament.
And we mentioned Senior Day will be October the 21st, the final home game against Marymount. Right now, Marymount in the basement. And so it should be a winnable game. It's a nice pass to McFadden. Will she get the good shot? Oh, it goes in. McFadden has the goal. And a nice pass, nice setup.
It was very good, and you saw better spacing on that. The Knights were really about 10 yards apart.
And a nice high shot, too.
Yes.
The goalkeeper was expecting something right at her, and she sailed that right over her head.
And there was a lot of different options on that pass that went to McFadden. It could have gone over to the left-hand side toward Monson, or even gone all the way over on the far wing. But great pass. McFadden was able to finish off, and now the Knights really have to start feeling good about themselves because all that pressure they've been putting on Wesley is starting to pay off.
And the key here, Mike, will be how they play after the goal. We've talked about how they play after a goal is scored against. Also, very important after you score a goal like that to keep the pressure up and not let Wesley come right back and even it.
Well, again, you're absolutely right, and what they need to do is go back to that spacing. They've got to make sure that they stay spaced out because right now Wesley's defense is having a tough time trying to stay up with the spaced out Knights, but very easy times when the Knights get too close together.
And I think you could see how viable, we've talked in the past couple of games, where will the offense come from when you've got McFadden down there, Monson, also Cottle, and Barlow. You've got some really good goal scorers as that shot by Barlow is handled by Lynch, the goalkeeper.
And then when you get Gamby back into the mix, now you got McFadden, you got Monson, you got Gamby. That's just almost like Murderer's Row from the old Yankees, but they haven't been able to put it together on a consistent basis this year.
Or be on the field at the same time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And if they can do that for the upcoming games, that would really do a lot for this offense that has really been lagging.
And you can see after they score a goal, maybe a little pep in their step, just a little bit more energy. Back it comes to Lauren Hatchett.
And Lauren really didn't have to chase that ball down at full speed, because now after that first goal, we're starting to see the Wolverines really start to back it up, pack it in, don't want to give up the next goal. So that takes away from their offense.
Slade with the throw-in. Victoria Slade, a junior, she's getting a lot of minutes here in the last few games. Those who remain healthy all season long are playing a lot of minutes, Mike.
Yeah, and that's what they want to see. They want to have the minutes when they come in. Obviously, they'd all like to win it on fair competition, but when you're called upon, you need to step up and perform, and so far Victoria's done a great job.
And it gives you a chance, and not just for this season, but in the near future.
And it just makes your team so much stronger. See Alicia chasing the ball down. Now the defense is really going to have to be aware of what's going on around them and not get pulled up so far that they give up an easy goal.
Sorensen with it. Knights are trying to gradually work their way upfield and avoid any turnovers. Trying to get it to Barlow, who gets it over to Monson. Monson working against three defenders in the middle. Tries to get it over to the left side to Nakamoto. McFadden with a shot off to the right. Boy, she had a good look again.
Oh, you thought that may have had a chance, but just was able to pull it off to the near goal.
And it was one of those deals, too, where she just didn't have a whole lot of time to take the shot. Had to hurry it, maybe.
But it's nice to see Tatiana really not pressing the offense that much, knowing that they're all going to collapse on her, and she's starting to find her teammates wide open.
One thing's for sure, Taylor Lynch, the goalkeeper for Wesley, facing a lot more opposition right now than the Savannah. You're right.
Well, and if you're a Knights fan, that's what you want to see. We've seen Savannah be pushed to the brink so many times, or Carmel Hardy be pushed to the brink so many times because the onslaught was just that great. Now it's good to see the reversal of fortune.
Under the 17-minute mark till halftime. Knights on top here, 1-0, trying to go on the offense again. Sorensen trying to get it ahead to Monson. Pass picked off by the Wolverines. Stolen away back by McFadden up the right side. Will she take it from there? Centering pass. Monson not there.
Yeah, unfortunately, the defender for Wesleyan, number 3, Kayla Ryan, was able to step right in front.
Kicked out by Wesley, so it'll be the Knights' ball.
Again, nice build up to an attack.
Nice passing today.
And it's good to see Jackie Barlow playing without the face mask. She broke her nose in an earlier game. Now she's able to come back and play without it. I'm sure she's feeling much more comfortable out there on the field.
Knights looking to gain control of the ball here with this 1-0 lead. Sorensen, a header over to Nakamoto, or make that Miller. That was Nakamoto, and long shot goes off to the left. Boy, nice long shot there.
Yeah, just one of those little chip shots trying to go up and over the top, and nice job by Nakamoto seeing how far the goalie was out. But you're right. You can see a different confidence about the Knights right now. They have that 1-goal lead. They scored in the first half. They're really going for trying to get that second goal and put Wesley at a major disadvantage.
Yeah, and you see Wesley kind of going around, maybe a little indecisive at times, and that's another reason you want to get that second goal and really, keep your foot on the gas pedal as Jamila Gamby is going to come in for the first time today.
And she comes in for Jackie Barlow, and now we got some prolific goal scorers up front. Just how are they going to mesh? And this is what really Coach Darks has been looking for all season long. Can I get these goal scorers together and to mesh?
And Jamila hasn't played for how many games now? Looks like she's anxious to really get going here.
Yeah, she's been out for at least 4 games.
Janiyah Moore up the right side. Let's see if she's got any help. Nice defense by the Knights to take that ball away, at least momentarily. Kicked in by Wesley. Uriah has it. He tries to get it to McFadden. And it'll roll out and be the Knights' ball.
And if that's the extent of the pressure that Savannah faces in goal all game, those long shots like that, just trying to throw the ball in towards the goal, that would be great.
Here's Nakamoto. No chance there. Yeah, if they can just bottle up Janiyah Moore, not let anything get through with her getting behind the defense, it's hard to see Wesley maybe making a dent against the Knights, but you never know with a player as talented as number 5 right there, Moore.
Yeah, and just her.
Oh, nice
her
move.
Speed.
She got by Hatchet by kicking it right around her and then going to get basically her own pass.
But there you saw Slade learn from the last time she was down there in this same situation. She just kicked it out instead of trying to dribble it through.
Yeah, sometimes you do that, Mike, simply to regroup on defense.
Yeah, and their defense has really been, once it's been set, has been really good and not letting the Wolverines have any real chance on goal.
Slade kicks it ahead.
You know, we haven't been able to say this in a lot of games, but it looks like the Knights are a little bit more physical than the Wesley Wolverines.
Canby knocked a player from Wesley to the turf there, so Wesley will get it.
And even the physical stature of the Knights seem to be towering over some of the Wolverines. So that does go ahead and start to play a factor as the game gets longer.
And for most of the game, it's been Wesley, from a defensive standpoint, doing the chasing, Mike.
And we know how that can do.
Nice over-the-top pass. And Uriah alertly comes out for it.
Oh, and you cannot fall asleep on that type of play.
If Uriah does not make that play, then Wesley's got a great look at a goal. Pulliam brings it up the left side, kicks it out, and so Wesley will have it.
Throw in now for the Knights, and again, love to see a little build up, and each one of the goal scorers touch the ball and have a wide open shot on goal.
Sorensen trying to work free, looking for a teammate. Up to McFadden. She tries to chase it down.
Oh, nice job being able to
Kicks
keep
it
in.
ahead. Gamby will try to go to the middle. Monson's over there too, and the kickoff to the right.
And again, in some of Jamila's exuberance and not being able to play for so long, she's starting to get a little bit out of whack as far as her spacing is going with some of her teammates. But you can never fault hustle.
Sorensen's got it. Knights again trying to space out a little bit, work it around, find an opening. A give and go attempt there.
It gets through to Nakamoto.
Knights, are you really using the give and go a lot here in this first half, Mike?
They must have seen something in their film study how that Wesley really doesn't react well to it, and
maybe falls asleep when a pass is made and allows that the person making the pass to get behind them.
Yeah, falls asleep or turns their head and doesn't see where the passer actually went off to. So, you know, the more that they do it and can, again, put pressure on the goalkeeper, the better off for them.
Hatchick boots it deep, and Wesley boots it out, and so it's going to be Knights ball with 10:17 to go. Quick pass to Gamby. Back to Slade. Nakamoto tried to go get it. Couldn't.
Now we're starting to see a lot of the defensemen really creep up toward midfield. They got to be careful.
Yeah, with Janiyah Moore, just one good pass, and she's in on a one-on-one against the goalkeeper, Uri.
And all that hard work almost goes down the drain. Well, like you said, it seems like the Wolverines are really doing a lot more chasing than the Knights are, and we'll see that pay dividends more in the second half as their legs start to really lose a lot of steam and endurance.
Slade downfield trying to hit Gambee, knocked away by Wesley and out of bounds. Slade and Sorensen looking for a little opening here. And Gambee's pass to McFadden goes right past her and out of bounds, and so Wesley will get it.
You can see just a little bit of rust on Jamila after being out with a concussion for so long.
Savannah Pulliam with it. To Jamila. Tries to work through a couple of defenders. Nice pass to McFadden. She's double teamed on the right. Back to Jamila. Over to Monson. Point blank shot stopped by Lynch.
I think they're going to call her offside.
Okay.
I heard the whistle go. So
good passing again by the Knights, though.
Very good passing, and we saw this with the CNU men. They didn't mind having a few offsides because it meant that they were really pushing forward and at least.
Nice pass to Monson. Defender there to knock it away. Gambee comes in, launches a shot, and Lynch has it, and Gambee hits the turf. Gets up, limping a little bit, Mike. I don't know if that's a turf burn, maybe.
I don't know. She's grabbing more towards the hamstring. I mean, not the hamstring, but the quad or groin area, and she may have on that plant when her foot slipped, strained something.
Seems like she's running okay now.
Well, she's been out so long, she's not going to let anybody know that how bad she's hurting because she wants to play.
Gambee's pass to McFadden again, kind of off kilter and out of bounds. Well, it's got to be tough, Mike, after you miss 3, 4, 5 games, just to come back and pick it up without, as if you never missed any games.
Yeah, the timing is thrown off just by not being able to play. The speed that you need to pass the ball with, or the touch is just not there as much as it was as you're playing during the season.
Knights kicked it out of bounds, so it'll be Wesley ball. Wesley just really hasn't had a whole lot of good looks. They'll move into the offensive area now, though, and try to find a player in the middle of the field. Knights are able to knock it away.
Yeah, Wesley's only been able to manufacture one corner kick, and that's been about the extent of their offense.
Gambee's pass to McFadden, past her and out of bounds. Knights the last couple of minutes have had a hard time making connections on their passes. Hatchett kicks it over there. A little too far for Gambee, though. Sorensen racing up there. Gets it over to Gambee. Pass a little too far again, Mike.
Yeah, but that's the the ball's still loose and was knocked out, I think, by the goalkeeper. I think we'll have a corner kick. But that's the Savannah Sorensen that we've seen last year. Racing to the middle, taking the ball away from a defender and to make a play. And if she's going to start to round into shape like we've seen her play earlier on last year, then this whole team can really turn it around.
Nakamoto will take the corner kick towards the middle. Monson with a header just over the goal. Had the right idea, just a little bit too much underneath that one, and so it'll be Wesley's ball. Here is Sarah Foster, the freshman, who's been playing a lot lately too. Knights 4 shots on goal. No shots on goal thus far for the Wolverines.
12 overall shots for the Knights. So, again, a reversal of fortunes from what we've seen in the last couple games.
Maybe since the Avery game. Wesley going on the attack. Nice defensive play by the Knights to kick it away. Wesley tries to apply the pressure. Slade mishit it. But there is McFadden. Rolls out of bounds off Wesley.
And McFadden's feeling really good. She's all the way back on defense, now pressing forward as one of the strikers on offense and just all over the field.
Nice passage to one of the players for the Wolverines with a shot and in. That was Brianna Day, the freshman or the junior from Baltimore, Maryland, getting that shot off. It hit Uriah's hand, bounced past her, and into the goal. And so just like that, the Wolverines, their first shot on goal is a goal.
And again, just a passing mistake on the defensive end of the field leads to that open shot.
And Brianna Day got behind the Knights defense, kicked that shot towards the left of Uriah. Uriah got a hand on it, Mike, just couldn't bring it in.
Yeah, unfortunately there was not a defender there to really take away a lot of the angle that she had to go into goal. And
that shows you what we've been talking about. I mean, the Knights have basically outplayed Wesley here this first half, and yet we are still tied.
Yeah, and this is not what the Knights wanted to see with under 5 minutes to go as their lead dissipate.
Knights will try to get it back in the final 3 minutes. Sorensen has it outside. Tries to sneak a pass through to Monson. Nothing doing. Pass towards the middle. McFadden with a shot off to the right. I would think Wesley, if this score holds up going into halftime, they got to feel fortunate to be tied at halftime.
Yeah, they have to be feeling really good about how well their defense has played to keep so many shots out of goal.
Substitution coming in here for Wesley. That's Devon Ross, a 5'6" junior.
Nice job by Lauren Hatch just to get it out so the Knights could get set again.
Kick ahead. Uriah gets there before Griffith does.
And just that quickly, things change in this game where you have time of possession on your side, all the offensive statistics on your side, and then one small mistake allows a goal to be scored, and we're back knotted up.
Well, the good news is the Knights have outplayed Wesley, so they got to feel pretty good about, if that can continue in the second half, about winning this game. Then again, as we've seen, it only takes the goals are the most important category. And Wesley would be just one goal away now from taking the lead in this game for the first time.
Well, again, we talked about how much Wesley's really been chasing the Knights. It gets into your legs in the second half.
Can be floating that pass over to McFadden. But too many defenders to go through. Nakamoto tried to get it back to McFadden, couldn't.
Looks like some of the Knights may be running a little bit out of steam.
Yeah.
Halftime can't get here soon enough.
Then the question becomes, do they change anything at all in the second half? And one thing's for sure, Mike, they've got to look out for those passes over the top, the seam passes, the passes that allow a Wesley player to get behind the defense and to get a good look at a shot.
And they can't make any mistakes passing the ball on the defensive end. They can't be lackadaisical about it. They got to make sure their passes are sharp and crisp and to the foot of one of their teammates, and not just lay it out there for anybody to go get.
Shot towards the middle, knocked away. Wesley really going on the attack here in the final few seconds of this first half.
So it's going to be very important that the Knights really clear this ball out and get to halftime with the 1-1 tie.
Corner kick towards the middle. And on the left side, the player from Wesley had a good look, Mariner, but couldn't make the play. And we are at halftime, Mike, in a 1-1 game.
Yeah, and again, the Knights dominated statistically that first half. Unfortunately, gave up that goal off of a bad pass or a clearing pass, and we're knotted at 1-1. The good news is, though, the Knights have looked much better on the offensive end, at least building up attacks.
So it's 1-1, all tied up here at halftime between the Wesley Wolverines and the Southern Virginia University Knights. We'll take a little break, come back in a few minutes. We'll take a look at the halftime numbers and get you ready for second half action in just a few minutes, so stay with us.
And we're back with the fields for the women's soccer game between Southern Virginia University and Wesley Wolverines. We're joined now by Coach Josh Patino of the men's team. Josh, welcome.
Thank you.
Glad to have
Mike.
you in here. While the young ladies are getting out onto the field and get started, let's talk a little bit about your season. What do you think has been your biggest drawback this year, or what's been the biggest thing that you really didn't anticipate coming into this season?
Sure, good question. So obviously, no coach anticipates injuries and the amount of injuries that we've had early on in the season and through the first part of our season. And then, you know, one thing we did this year on purpose is that we took off some of our weaker opponents on purpose. You know, we wanted to play tougher caliber teams, and we wanted to prepare for our conference. And so by design, we had a much tougher schedule. And early on in the season, we played the top 6 teams in the ODAC, which is a very tough conference. And I think it's helped us, to be honest. Even though we haven't had the results that we've wanted, I think it's helped us going forward. But I think the biggest thing is the injuries that we've had, and having to play players out of position, out of need, isn't conducive to a winning environment. Every now and then is okay, but from game to game, that definitely affects the play and the style that we are forced to play.
Yeah, we've noticed that your starting lineup really has never been the same. Always one or two people out, and then, like you said, when you start moving people around to different positions, really throws off the chemistry or the cohesiveness. Also, I've kind of noticed a little bit that you may have changed the formations that you started out with from the first part of the season to now. Was that out of necessity, or was it just a coaching strategy change that you made because it had to fit the players?
Yeah, we definitely had a game plan of what we wanted it to look like. We wanted to play in the 4-3-3. We wanted to possess and attack and dominate the middle. We realized early on we didn't have the personnel to do that, and we didn't have the quite a strong ability. And again, some of that is to injuries, but then we had to change, and we were definitely focused on improving our record and throughout the season. So we made the change. So we're playing more of a 4-5-1 right now, sometimes a 4-4-2, depending on who's playing. And right now, we're out a couple players still, and we've had some season-ending injuries, and so that's definitely affected the style and the formation in which we play. But again, as we rebuild, I think we'll get to a point where we can play the style that we want to play. But right now, we have to fit our players, and that's fine. I think that's fine.
Well, we noticed that against Christopher Newport, a very tough opponent. Really a great first half of football, soccer, and then all of a sudden, you know, you started to look like your team started to wear down just a little bit. And Christopher Newport, again, just a relentless attacking team over and over and over again, and really put you back on your heels. Was it a game plan at that point that you were just trying to limit their touches on the offensive end of the field and maybe sneak in a goal or two to steal the ball, the game away? Or is this something we're going to see more often of y'all really concentrating on the defensive end and trying to bottle up teams?
Yeah, so definitely against Christopher Newport, very specific game plan. They're a high-scoring team, very high-powered offense, lots of players that scores goals for them, and we needed to. Last year they blew us out. Very humbling experience. It was 8-0 experience, and wasn't much of a game. And so we definitely wanted to give them a game. And they were ranked 3rd in the country last year. Coming in, that's what we thought. That Tuesday morning, the rankings had changed. They were ranked 10th, but we know that means nothing. So they're a very quality team. So we wanted to play a little bit more defensive and counter attack. I don't think we'll see that in every game. You know, we're taking each opponent a game at a time, and we want to. We're looking to find ways to get results, and obviously in the second half of the season we want to make the conference tournament, which we still can, and that's the goal. So we definitely want more offense than what you saw against Christopher Newport for sure. But I was very pleased at the end of that game that 100% team defense, everyone's playing the way we wanted them to play, and we didn't get as many opportunities as we wanted to, but we weren't hoping that we were going to get a ton either.
Well, we know that you're playing tomorrow, and we wish you luck there. Again, with all the injuries that you've had this year, I know you and Coach Tibbs have done a lot of shuffling and probably a lot of late nights of what do we do now and who's who's going to be available. So we do wish you luck tomorrow and the rest of the season. And again, that 6th spot is in the Capital Conference is still there for y'all to get to, and we'd really love to see you at the conference tournament.
Thanks, Mike. I appreciate it.
Thanks for stopping by. We've seen some action there with the Lady Knights as they've taken the ball down into the offensive end. A couple of shots being taken. We saw a foul with a free kick going in for the Knights and just not being able to connect there. Again, the Knights are attacking more and more and more as we saw in the first half, Jim.
Yeah, and Mike, it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out in the second half. The Knights have really dominated this game at times. Then again, just 1-1 on the scoreboard.
Yeah, and with all the work that you're putting into this, you'd really love to see a 2 or 3 goal lead. We'll see if this pressing, though, and attacking nature that the Knights have really done the first half pays off in dividends in the second half, especially as we get down toward the 20-minute mark.
14-5 shot advantage in that first half. In fact, Savannah Uri not credited for any saves in that first half.
Yeah, she really didn't face a lot of
just
a
one
lot
shot,
of
and that one fortunately
shot.
went in. Of course, McFadden got the goal for the Knights.
But we saw a lot of pressure that was thrown at the Wolverines by the Knights that whole first half. Just not a lot to show for it except the 1 goal.
And a majority of this half so far, the first 5 minutes, played again on Wesley's defensive side.
And at the very beginning of the second half, we saw a little flurry by the Wolverines as they started to put some pressure on the Knights. But since about at least the 43-minute mark, the Knights have really started to take charge again. Hopefully that will continue throughout this half. And again, the Knights get that 1 extra goal and limits the Wolverines to no more shots.
And hopefully the Knights can win this in regulation, because this, to a certain degree, has the makings of maybe a potential overtime game.
Yeah, and you really don't want to get into that, especially with the short turnaround that the Knights have. They'll practice a little bit tomorrow morning
Right,
before.
games Monday, Wednesday.
Yeah, you don't want to really have to go through a lot of extra if you don't have to.
Nice pass over the top. Nakamoto gets back, forces the shot to occur maybe before Wesley wanted to occur, and the Knights are able to get the easy save.
Yeah, took away the angle there that the Wolverines were having coming towards the goal.
Because for a split second, until Nakamoto got back, it looked pretty good.
Yeah, it looked wide open.
If you're a Wesley fan.
Nakamoto came back and really took the angle away.
Nice move by Ennis. Tries to get it up to a teammate, to Moore, but the Knights are able to take it back. So far, knocking on wood here, Mike, with 38:50 to go in the game in regulation, Janai Moore has not really been a huge factor. She's got the ball right now momentarily, but whistle blows, and then the Knights will have it.
And if you can bottle up a prolific goal scorer and make her a non-factor and force others on the team to try to step up, your chances of winning that game really escalate. And now, as we saw with the Knights, all it takes is one small mistake for a great chance on goal.
Miller kicks it back to Uri. Moore chases, and Hatchett gets it. Boy, Janai Moore will go right after the goalkeeper, even though she's 10, 15 yards away.
Yeah, she wants to use her quickness and really trying to force some type of mistake because she knows that she has the quickness to close up on whoever it is that the ball's going towards.
Barlow's pass is so off the foot of a teammate.
Again, we need to watch the spacing of the Knights. When they were spaced out properly, they were really good. And when they weren't spaced out properly, it really caused a lot of problems for them, especially on the defensive side.
Nice header from Barlow over to Monson, working and trying to back her way in against the defender. Fires the shot with her left foot that time. Nowhere near close to the goal. Goalkeeper makes the easy save. Lynch has it. Cottle to Monson. Heads it over to Winterton.
Looks like we got an offsides call. That could have been either on Monson or Cottle.
Later in this half, we'll maybe try to get you another baseball update. Last we heard, Toronto, Texas, extra innings. Astros on top 4-2 over Kansas City. It looks like Texas and Toronto are still battling in extras.
Yeah, they're in the 14th inning.
14th inning.
Well, we know that if we go to overtime, it's golden goal. And only 2 overtime periods. So
2 10-minute periods.
Yes. So we know that this game will come to an end at some time.
Of course, I believe we've had an overtime. It was the Randolph game on September the 16th. Knights won that 1-0. It was a Gambigo that won that game.
Yeah, and again, the Knights really were the ones that were the aggressors for most of that game, just not able to put the ball in the goal.
Cammy Miller trying to ride the Wesley player off the ball. Very successful hawking, and the Knights end up with it. Janiyah Moore trying to outrace Hatchett to the ball.
And there you see the discrepancy in size. Lauren Hatchett is just so much taller.
5'7", and Moore is 5'2".
Yeah, and also you can see that just the breadth of the shoulders there. Lauren's able to really use those shoulders. It's not just against Moore, against anybody. She's able to use her shoulders to knock them off their line.
Moore gets tangled up with Nakamoto. Nakamoto goes down. She's gone down a couple of times in this second half. Kristen Griffith checks in for Wesley, and it'll be Savannah Pulliam, who got some playing time in the first half, checking in for the Knights here in the second half.
And we might see a little bit more substitutions in the second half by the Knights, really trying to put the pressure on Wesley, who has a limited amount of people on their roster, although the Knights are limited too with all the injuries that they've had.
Interesting, your discussion with Coach Patino about the injuries and how that's impacted his team this season.
Yeah, they've had to change formations just because they just don't have the people to run what they originally planned on doing. And then each game plan day by day is going to be so different because he doesn't know really who's going to be available for practice or for games.
Then you obviously hope that players like Mullaba, Lonergan, obviously Munoz, just to name a few, can get back and play on a permanent basis. And maybe the men can have a situation like and maybe the second half of the season might be completely different than the first half.
Yeah, and you always really want to perform well at home, especially during your homecoming week.
Women in the first half, a lot of viable offensive threats out there on the field, and maybe the second half of the season might be completely different than the first half.
Yeah, and you always really want to perform well at home, especially during your homecoming weekend. You know, the Knights here have put on a good show. Even though it's 1-1, they've really been the aggressor. I'm sure that the men are going to want to do that tomorrow and hopefully come out with a win to really propel them into the rest of the conference season.
And they'll be facing a Wesley team, men's team tomorrow, 4-6-1, and I believe 1-1 in the Capital Conference.
Yeah, so again, no one's really out of the race to get into the conference tournament yet, but we talked about the ladies here. If they win this, they're really putting themselves a step ahead.
Cottle hits the turf, no whistle. Sorensen tries to take it away, gets it over to Nakamoto. Works it towards the middle to Winterton.
You know, and we'd like to see them switch sides of the field. They're starting to, again, bring everything to one side of the field and let the Wesley defense catch up to them. Miller's going to have to take the angle away.
Janiyah Moore making the move, and Miller kicks it out of bounds.
Looks like they may have a corner kick here. No, they say it went off of
Janiyah Moore.
So nice play by Miller.
trying to get it to Cottle over her head, so Wesley's got it now. Sorensen's pass taken away. That's Griffith deep in the right corner, being hawked by a Hatchet.
Again, Hatchet's able to use her physical nature just to hold Griffiths there, and Griffiths couldn't do anything but try to throw the ball back out.
Cottle and Ennis really battling in the corner there. I think Cottle was complaining that Ennis kicked that ball out, and yet they give it to Wesley, Mike.
There's a slow roller to Savannah. You know, we've seen, again, just one or two small mistakes passing down on the defensive end that has really put the Knights in some precarious situations.
It may well be fatigue. The Knights seem to be passing the ball a lot more efficiently and accurately in that the first 10, 15, 20 minutes of the game.
And, it could be a little bit of fatigue. It could be that Wesley's starting to, or found their second wind and aren't playing as timid as we saw in the first half.
They're just taking away those passing lanes. Knights have really struggled to make the connections here the last few minutes. And now here is Ennis on the right side, trying to work through Nakamoto, who makes a good defensive play to momentarily take it away. Ennis and Nakamoto going after it. Don't worry, Mike will find that one tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll come looking for it later on. That's a nice drop off right there. About a 15-foot drop.
Sounds like you've been there.
I've been there. Again, another dangerous situation for the Knights as Wesley's created a corner kick.
Lauren Price will take it for the Wolverines. Kick towards the middle. Five shots on goal now for the Knights. One
Got
for the Wolverines.
Another corner kick for Wesley.
Price will take it again.
The Wesley team calling for a handball there.
Over the head of Moore. Battle for the ball. Cottle's got it. Nakamoto clears. This game has really gone in stages, Mike. At times, the Knights in control, spending a lot of time down on the Wesley end, and here in the last few minutes, Wesley really spending a lot of time near the Southern Virginia goal.
And they get a free kick here. I think they were going to call Hatchet with a handball there, but it looked more like it came off her elbow than it did her hand.
Yeah, it looks like Price will take it again, about 25 yards out.
Well, we saw in the first half that the same situation happened here. One of the Knights fell asleep on the backside, and they popped it over the top.
Price's kick sails over the goal. Substitution for the Knights. Chloe Lewis will check in.
And with less than 28 minutes left to go in this game, the Knights really need to keep the ball down on their offensive end to attack a little bit more. We've seen over the last 4 or 5 minutes the Wesley Wolverines really put a little bit of too much pressure for our liking on the Knights.
You know, when McFadden scored that goal, I was really thinking this might be an offensive explosion a la Averett, where maybe the Knights would maybe have a lot of players involved in the offense, might end up with 3 or 4 goals, and it may still wind up like that, but you got to credit Wesley. They have really shored up their defense since the early part of this game, as the kick is easily handled by Uri.
Yeah, again, after you travel for so far and so long sitting on a bus, it takes a few minutes of gameplay for you to really get your legs back underneath you. Again, some of the spacing issues that we saw earlier on in the season
Nice pass there.
start to plague the Knights now.
Nakamoto to Pulliam.
And nobody knows whose ball it is. The linesman's not calling it, so it's up to the referee. Wesley ball.
They keep trying to go over the top to Janiyah Moore.
Well, and the chasing nature that we saw in the first half, the Knights were having
Moore with a high kick. Oh, it hit the bar. Break there for the Knights. That was a booming kick by Janiyah Moore. Kind of no man's land for Uri. And fortunately for the Knights, Mike, just a little too high and it hit the bar.
Yeah, and this is a reversal of the first half where the Knights were so much in control and Wesley was chasing. Right now, the Knights are chasing Wesley all over the place. Alicia Blackham checks in now for the Knights.
In a game like this, Mike, provided we have a second goal by either team in regulation, it would be huge. Still lots of time to go, over 25 minutes, but the way these teams are playing their defense, whoever scores next has got a big advantage.
Well, right now the Knights have their best scorers in Gamby and McFadden and Monson, so it's a all-out rush now to get that second goal.
Sorensen tried to get by a Wesley defender, couldn't. Ennis has it for Wesley to Griffith, knocked out by Hatchett.
There we go. Ball finally goes back over to the Knights.
Header by Griffith out of bounds, so the Knights will have the throw in. Sorensen to Blackham and out of bounds.
Yeah, Cottle just wasn't able to curl it back in. And now that you got your best goal scorers in, the Knights really got to maintain possession. Get the ball down on the offensive end, maintain possession, put some passes together.
Someone else who's been kind of taken out of this game, Monson, early on, Mike, had 3 or 4 good looks at goal scorers, just couldn't get him in, and she really hasn't had a shot here lately.
And it looks like Tatiana may be out for a few minutes.
Yep, Gamby was interfered with, so the Knights will have it on the kick. A long way to go, though, 37 yards away, as Pulliam will take the kick.
And let's see if she just tries to play it. Nope, trying to go for the goal. It'd been nice to see her try to put it towards this nearest goal post and let Gamby go in and just use her talent and her physicalness to try to pop it in.
That's Griffith for Wesley up the left side. Knights got a McFadden goal in the first half. And then for the Wesley goal, it was Brianna Day scoring.
That was a nice slide tackle by Cami Miller. And if the Knights hurry, they can get a great counterattack here.
Over to Gamby.
She can pass it ahead to
Cottle's up ahead, but the pass is blocked away by a Wesley defender.
Yeah, if that pass could have slid through there, it was Cottle in stride. But that's the counterattacks that we need to see from the Knights. More often, not just really trying to be deliberate, but sometimes you have to take those chances. And again, if just a foot to the right, that would have caught Mackenzie Cottle in stride, and that would have been a goal.
Blackham trying to race back for it. Wesley is able to get there first, but a kick towards the middle by Wesley knocked away. And now to Sorensen. Taken away by Wesley again. long shot off to the right of the goal.
And we saw Sorensen there waiting for the ball to come to her. She needs to go attack the ball so she can make that turn with nobody on her and distribute it to the rest of her teammates.
Cedar Donaldson will check in, replacing Cottle for the Knights. Freshman from Arizona.
Again, Coach Grawrock with a lot of subs in this second half, trying to keep the fresh legs out there.
Maybe for the last push of the final 10 or 15 minutes.
Yeah, hopefully that they're able to really find some chemistry together.
Steinmore, offsides.
Offsides.
Knights with the advantage on shots on goal, 5-1, 4-1 advantage for Wesley when it comes to corner kicks.
Again, the Knights need to switch sides of the field. They're getting trapped into one side, and it's very easy to defense.
Sorensen brings it up and loses the ball momentarily. Wesley battling for it along with the Knights. Off of Hatchett.
And again, very safe play, not trying to do too much with it because you have Moore standing right there just waiting to clean up any mistake that you make.
Hatchett will kick it out again.
And Moore has scored 10 goals. I don't even think she has a shot today. If she does, it's a shot that really didn't have any steam on it.
She was the one who took that shot to hit the bar.
Oh, that's right.
But yes, they've really surrounded her and made her pretty much a non-factor, Mike. Well, we're under the 20-minute mark now. The Knights and the Wolverines all tied here. This is the kind of game, Mike, that could really make or break the Knights' season.
Yeah, a win here puts them so far ahead trying to claim that sixth spot. As you got so many teams vying for it right now with a 1-2 record or a 0-2 record. A win could really do wonders to put you back up into trying to get that sixth spot for the tournament. Corner kick for the Knights now.
McFadden looks like she's going to take it.
Again, let's try to see if they try to go towards the back or the near goal post to us. Try to get it to Gamby. Oh, plays it to the far goal post.
Donaldson tries to go over to Gamby, but it's knocked away by Wesley. Blackham and Moore battling, and Moore takes it away.
Miller stepped up. Oh, nice centering pass.
Just a lot of defenders there for the Knights. And now Uriah just is able to get there before the Wesley player to get that ball. That was a close call. Sorensen works by Moore. Trying to get it to Gamby, but it's knocked away by Wesley.
And that pass may have to be a little bit more over the top to try to get to her instead of trying to put it through the seam. Now we see a lot of walking now by some of the Wesley players, so that they're starting to slow down also.
And again, Monson's not out there right now. Well, I wonder if we'll see her in the last 10 or 15 minutes.
Well, it's starting to cloud up a little bit outside now and cool off some. So, again, we talked earlier about how the weather's really been great for soccer today. This is, again, another breath of fresh air for the soccer players.
What do you suspect, Mike, the philosophy is for the Knights and for the Wesley Wolverines here in the last 15 minutes? Are all going out all for broke for a goal, or will perhaps one of these teams kind of circle the wagon, maybe play for overtime?
I think both of them are going to try to end it early because you can see both teams starting to get a little tired. You know, you don't want to go to that golden goal. You want to make sure that you end it here in regulation.
Now, it's not quite the same as sudden death overtime, but who knows? The next goal might really be essentially the game-winning goal.
And we talked, especially for the Knights, 3 games next week that they have to play. Want to save something for that.
Hatchett trying to beat more to the ball. Uri has to come way out for it.
Again, Hatchett really looked like she slowed down there at the very end.
Might be getting fatigued.
Yeah, she needs to understand that Moore is not going to quit. She's going to keep on coming at her full speed. She may have thought that the ball was really too far away for Moore to even get close to.
Gambee tries to make a play, but it's knocked away by Wesley. Knights will have it. William trying to get it to Cedar Donaldson. Again, B had it, kicked it right where she thought Donaldson was going to be, but Donaldson had already run past.
You know, and one of the habits that the Knights are falling back into, again, keeping everything on this near side of the field. In the first half, the spacing was great. They used both sides of the field, switched the ball several times during their attacks, and now they've forgotten about that far side of the field.
Both teams trying to get that second goal, which could be the game winner. Boy, every time they go back that way and Janiyah Moore's running around there, Mike, you just get this picture of her taking it all the way to the goal.
Yeah, there's
nice pass. Stop and go by Moore. Tries to center it, but there's no one there. Good play by Sorensen.
It looked like she was trying to get it back to number 19, Samantha Netterman.
Substitutions for the Knights. Winterton in, Barlow in, Nakamoto in.
Again,
it looks like Monson's also coming back into the game.
That shot that we see when we were looking at it expanded there, a lot of girls bending over, tugging at the shorts. That's the universal sign for, man, I'm starting to get tired.
We'll see if we can get Tatiana Monson involved a little bit more in the action here than we saw, obviously, in the first half. She was heavily involved in the opening 20 minutes, Mike, with 3 good looks at potential goals. Came up empty on all 3 shots, but hasn't really been involved in the offense here lately.
Well, it looks like the defense for Wesley has changed a little bit, too. They're playing a lot deeper, and especially with they playing with 2 back at least about 10 yards further back than any of the Knights players.
Cottle to Barlow. Sorensen tried to give and go to Barlow, but too far ahead. Ennis had it, lost it.
Nice
Sorensen
poke.
Takes it away.
Nice takeaway. Cottle tries to send it in. A little bit too deep for Monson to catch up to.
Lynch, the goalkeeper for Wesley, will boot it out. Cottle to Nakamoto with a header, and up the left side, Cottle tries to outrace the Wesley player to the ball.
Should we have a throw in here for the Knights?
Foster checks back in. And Sorensen's out.
Yeah, maybe giving Sorensen a little breather. She's been playing the whole game. Little breather to get her back in later on to push for that final goal.
Cottle tried to go over to Monson, just too far for her.
Yeah, it looks like they even called her offsides.
Apparently so. Knights were really controlling this game, Mike, in the first 15, 20 minutes. And Wesley has kind of settled things down since then. Monson with a good move in the middle. Kicks it, but way right of the goal.
Yeah, just pulled it too much. A little bit flatter shot. May have been able to tuck it into that far goal post.
And as you talked about, it's got to have an impact, her trying to kick mainly with her left foot.
Substitution for Wesley coming in, number 4, Devin Ross. And also Pagel's in for Caitlin Ennis. Barlow tries to settle the ball down some.
Neither team can really maintain possession, though, as Wesley's got it back, and now the Knights have it right back. Cottle to Barlow. Now Monson over to the right to Nakamoto, but that pass too far.
Yeah, and I think caught her offsides also. So you can't fault the Knights. They're really trying to go for it now. It's sending a lot of players deep, getting caught offsides a couple times. But, you know, all it takes is one to get through, and we could have a 2-1 game.
Ryan will come out for this one and kick it away.
Yeah, for the last 10 minutes, Jim, neither team's really been able to control the pace or keep the ball where they want it. A lot of back and forth. Nice touch from Cottle to Blackham.
Back to Hatchett. But again, Mike, as you mentioned, neither team can really maintain possession for seemingly more than 10 or 15 seconds. Hatchett rolls it back to Uri. Knocked out of bounds by Wesley.
Yeah, both teams are starting to wear down. Not a lot of continuity on their offense. The passes are going a little bit further away from the intended receiver. Not what we saw in the first half. Again, Wesley keeps continually trying to just throw the ball into the offensive end, hopefully chase it down and get that goal.
Hoping for maybe a Knights mistake.
Yep.
Knights try to work it upfield. Is Barlow with a nice lead pass, but a little too far for Nakamoto, who will try to chase it down.
Oh, and just not able to get to it. Good effort. Moore and Ennis back in for Wesley. Sorensen in for the Knights.
And Gambee still on the bench. She played a lot of minutes, of course, mid first half into the second half.
And we knew that her minutes were going to be very monitored and limited because of just coming back from the concussion.
Here's Hatchett on the attack. to Barlow. Her attempt at a give and go to Hatchett falls a little short, but Barlow's able to chase it down.
Cottle trying to chase it down. It's going to be
Can't
close.
get there.
And there's like you said, Hatchet coming up, trying to use that big defender's body of hers, those broad shoulders, to just barrel through some Wesley Wolverines. And we may see more of that in this last 6 minutes of this half. A defender, her or Miller, coming forward, trying to use some of their physical nature to help barrel through and find some of the weaknesses in the Wesley defense.
Miller gets it over to Barlow. Well, now, Mike, with 6 minutes to go in the game, whoever scores next, provided someone scores in regulation, it's going to be huge. Hatchett rolls it back to Uri.
Yeah, offsides there. Take your pick.
Griffith or Moore.
Yeah, you know, both teams want to get that goal in regulation now. They don't want to go to overtime. Again, it's just so much drain on you, especially going into next week's games. Plus, at this point, you don't know who to favor going into overtime. I mean, usually the rule of thumb is if you're the home team, you try to play for overtime because you're at your home and you should know a little bit more about having the field to your advantage, and the opposing teams always try to win it because they don't want to get to that overtime. But right now, it's a toss-up of who would have the advantage in overtime.
Or who would be the top offensive threats to be concerned about in the closing minutes and into overtime. Would it be Janiyah Moore, obviously, number 5 for Wesley, or maybe Monson or Gamby perhaps, or even McFadden for the Knights? Nakamoto with the throw in. Comes to Sorensen. Slade tries to work through a couple of defenders. Gets it ahead momentarily, but it's booted back out.
Yeah, Monson just wasn't able to turn with it. And she could have seen McFadden over to her right.
Moore, nice pass. Uri will get there first, though. Knights will try to work it up. Cottle to Barlow. Pass a little too far, though.
Clement's got to be careful. You just never know where Moore is going to show up.
And she doesn't seem to ever get fatigued.
Now she's got a couple minutes rest in both halves, so she looks like she's good to go.
Closing in on the 3-minute mark now in this 1-1 game. Both goals came in the first half, a scoreless second half. And this game really has the markings of a game that's going to overtime.
Yeah, but, you know, we were talking about how goals can get scored, and we saw a goal scored with 22 seconds left to go in a half, so things can happen rather quickly.
Foster thought a teammate was going to be there. Instead, it was a Wesley player. Here's Janiyah Moore.
And you see how quick she is with the ball.
Tried to pass it to a teammate, but it's taken away by the Knights.
Nice job by Foster to get back. And this is where things can start to get dangerous. When you start playing with the ball, taking it back towards your own goal, you make a mistake with a pass, it could leave you very vulnerable.
Ross will check back in for Wesley with 2:06 to go. McFadden will get it on the right side. She's battling Pegels for it.
Monson just missed with the header. And that was a great play by McFadden just to lift it right into the middle where Monson was.
Hatchett slides it left side to Cottle. Nakamoto will just get there to keep it in. Now Cottle with a kick and save by Lynch.
1 minute to go.
And we'll see if some of these fatigued players, if we get to overtime, Mike, if they can maybe catch their second win.
Yeah, they'll get a few minutes break, but now the pressure is, hey, if you give up one goal, it's over with.
45 seconds remaining.
Barlow gets it, works through one defender, tries to set up a last-second shot towards Lynch. Oh, almost a header by McFadden, I believe.
It
Or
looks
was
like-
it Monson?
Yeah, it was Monson, but it looked like they may have called her offsides too. But if
And-
Barlow could have got that ball off of her foot a little bit quicker, Monson was wide open on to her right.
So it looks like we'll be going to overtime in this Friday afternoon soccer game between Southern Virginia and Wesley, with the game tied at 1 at the end of regulation, Mike.
Yeah, again, who's going to be favored in this overtime? It's really a toss-up. Hopefully the Knights will be able to pull it out because of them or their record in overtimes, 1-0.
So Southern Virginia Wesley headed to overtime. We're going to take a little break here with the Knights and the Wolverines going to overtime. Stay tuned. We'll have the overtime coming up here shortly. Jim Bresnahan, Mike Harmon, again back here at the fields at Southern Virginia University, getting ready for the first overtime period. Southern Virginia, Wesley College, all tied in women's soccer action at the end of regulation. Mike, 1-1.
Yeah, and you know, golden goal. They switched sides. They're going to go to towards the goal that. Well, no, they didn't switch sides. Sorry, I thought they did. But here we go again. Hopefully, we saw the last time that the Knights went into overtime that Jamila Gamby scored very quickly in the opening session. So maybe we can see one of the Knights score very quickly now and get this game over with, so they don't have to use up a lot of energy going into next week.
And this is just the second overtime game the Knights have played here in 2015, during the 2015 season. Slade comes up and gets it. Do you actually, as a team, generally speaking, do you play a little bit more aggressively in overtime, knowing one goal ends it?
Well, that's a catch-22 situation. If you play too aggressively, you're opening yourself up to a counterattack. I think the pressure, it just builds in as the overtime goes further and further.
And, of course, we have 2 overtime periods, if necessary, of 10 minutes. Either team scores, that team wins. Nobody scores in the 2 overtimes. It'll end as a draw, Mike.
Yeah, and that won't do for the Knights. They need a win here to keep them in contention for that 6th spot.
Especially since a team like Wesley is battling them for that spot. Here's Janiyah Moore up the left side. Tries a centering pass, perhaps. Not there. Picked off by the Knights. Nakamoto was trying to get it to Monson. Slade winds up with it. Tries to get around a Wesley player. Gets it over to Foster.
Played back to Sorensen. Again, these are the passes that have really caused Knights the problems, where they're just trying to play it back. And Wesley has come up and snuck in and really put some pressure on Savannah Uri.
And Foster was able to battle the larger player from Wesley, Netterman. But Wesley keeps it in. Trying to get Janiyah Moore. She got past Miller, fires a shot, and wins it.
And again, a misplay by the Knights defense leads to that goal. Unfortunately, the Knights go away tonight with a loss.
Yeah, the ball looked like just got by Miller, and, well, we've seen this all game long. Moore sneaking in where maybe the Knights don't think she's going to be, and she snuck right around Miller, got the ball, got the shot off Mike before Uri was able to get out and stop it. And just like that, Wesley claims a 2-1 victory today in overtime.
Yeah, and as the game started out, we both thought that, maybe the Knights had found their offense, they're getting back on track, and then Wesley made some adjustments. The Knights weren't able to take advantage of the early opportunities that they had, and unfortunately come out with a loss in this overtime.
And it was a big victory today for Wesley. They are now 5-5-2 in the season, 2-2 in the Capital Conference, Mike, and the Knights dropped to 3-9 overall, and now 0-3 in the Capital Conference.
Yeah, and they've really put themselves in a hole now. It's a very, very hard road for them to try to get to that 6th spot. Mathematically, they're still in it, but they're going to have to really do some great things starting on Monday with Salisbury coming in.
That's a tough loss, especially when you consider how dominant the Knights were in the first half, especially the first 15, 20, 25 minutes of that first half. They dominated play. Monson had several good looks at shots. Knights got their first goal from McFadden. They led 1-0. They seem to be really dominating the game, and yet it winds up as an overtime victory for the Wolverines.
Yeah, again, like you said, an unfortunate turn of events. The Knights really had dominated the statistics in the first half. Just 2 mistakes leads to 2 goals. Only 2 shots really, or 3 shots on goal for the Wolverines, and 2 of them sneak in.
So a big win for the Wolverines. Don't forget, we'll have plenty of action being webcast on Saturday. We've got football 1 o'clock against Montclair State. Men's soccer action against Wesley tomorrow at 5 o'clock, so make sure you join us on Saturday for all that activity. Final score again today here from the fields at Southern Virginia. Disappointing loss for the Knights. Wesley College wins it in overtime, 2-1. For Mike Harmon and all the crew, I'm Jim Bresnahan. Thanks for joining us today.